Vietnamese folktale, Tum and Cam. Once upon a time, there were two half-sisters named Tum and Cam. Tum's mother passed away early, and her father later remarried Cam's mother. Tum's father loved her deeply, but unfortunately, he soon fell seriously ill and passed away. After her father's death, Tum had to live with her stepmother, who was also Cam's mother. The stepmother was cruel and wicked. She forced Tum to do all the housework, while Cam spent her days playing and enjoying herself. One day, the stepmother told both Tum and Cam to go to the river to catch fish. She said, "Whoever catches more fish will get a reward." Tum obediently followed her mother's words, working hard to catch fish. Before long, her basket was full, while Cam played around all day without catching a single fish. Seeing that Tum had many fish, Cam came up with a trick. "Sister Tum, your hair is dirty. Go wash it, or mother will scold you," Cam suggested. Tum believed her sister and left her basket of fish for Cam to watch while she went into the water to wash her hair. But while Tum was in the water, Cam poured all the fish from Tum's basket into her own and rushed home. When Tum came back, her basket was empty. Heartbroken, Tum sat down and cried. Suddenly, an old fairy appeared and asked, "Why are you crying, my child?" Tum told the fairy everything that had happened. The fairy asked Tum to check her basket to see if there were any fish left. There was only one small goby fish left. The fairy kindly instructed, "Don't cry anymore. Take the goby home, put it in the well, and feed it every day. When you feed it, remember to call, 'Little goby, come eat golden rice from my house. Don't eat the plain rice from others.'" After giving those instructions, the fairy disappeared. Tum did exactly as the fairy told her. Every day, she saved half of her meal to feed the goby. The goby quickly grew big and healthy. The stepmother noticed that Tum often brought food to the well and grew suspicious. She sent Cam to spy on her. Cam watched and learned everything. The next day, while Tum was away herding buffalo far from home, the stepmother and Cam tricked the goby by calling it with the same chant. When the goby surfaced, they caught it, killed it, and cooked it. When Tum returned and called for her goby, only a red pool of blood surfaced. She sat down and cried bitterly. Once again, the fairy appeared and asked, "Why are you crying, my child?" Tum explained everything. The fairy gently said, "Your goby has been eaten. But don't cry, gather its bones, place them in 4 jars, and bury them at the 4 corners of your bed." Tum searched for the bones, but couldn't find them. Suddenly, a chicken appeared and clucked, "Cluck, cluck, give me some rice, and I'll scratch up the fish bones for you." Tum fed the chicken, which then scratched the ashes in the stove and revealed the goby's bones. Tum buried the bones as instructed. Not long after, the king held a grand festival. Everyone was excited to attend. Cam and her mother dressed up early. When Tum asked to join them, the stepmother mixed a basket of rice with husks and ordered, "If you finish sorting this rice, you can go." Tum wept again. The fairy appeared and asked, "Why are you crying, my child?" Tum explained. The fairy summoned a flock of sparrows who quickly sorted the rice for Tum. But Tum still had no fine clothes to wear, so she cried once more. The fairy asked, "Why are you crying now?" Tum sobbed, "How can I go to the festival in these rags?" The fairy replied, "Dig up the 4 jars buried at the corners of your bed." Tum followed the instructions. In the first jar was a beautiful dress, in the second a pair of embroidered shoes, in the third a tiny horse that turned into a real horse when placed on the ground, and in the last jar a saddle and reins. Overjoyed, Tum dressed and rode to the festival. However, while crossing a stream, she accidentally dropped one shoe and couldn't retrieve it. At the festival, she carried the remaining shoe wrapped in a cloth. Coincidentally, the king's entourage passed by the stream where the lost shoe lay. The king's elephants refused to move. Soldiers searched and found the delicate shoe. The king admired it, saying, "This shoe is so exquisite. Surely its owner must be as beautiful." The king announced that any woman whose foot fit the shoe would become his queen. Many tried, including Cam, but none succeeded. When Tum's turn came, her stepmother mocked, Even temple bells can't win. How could a broken pot on the fence win? But when Tum tried on the shoe, it fit perfectly. She revealed the other matching shoe she had brought with her. The crowd cheered. The king was overjoyed and brought Tum back to the palace as his queen. The tragic plot and Tum's return. Cam and her mother were consumed with jealousy. On the anniversary of Tum's father's death, she returned home to make offerings. The stepmother, plotting her murder, told Tum, "Dear, here, climb the areca tree to pick some fruit for the offering." As Tum climbed the tree, the stepmother secretly cut its base. The tree shook, and Tum asked, "Aunt, what are you doing down there?" The stepmother replied, "There are ants around the base. I'm clearing them so they don't bite you." Suddenly, the tree fell, and Tum drowned in the pond. The stepmother dressed Cam in Tum's clothes and sent her to the palace, claiming Tum accidentally fell and died. Cam, her younger sister, has come to replace her. The king, though angry, said nothing. Meanwhile, Tum's spirit transformed into a golden oriole that flew into the palace. One day, while Cam was washing the king's clothes, she heard the bird sing. "Wash my husband's clothes properly. Hang them neatly on the bamboo rack. Don't hang them on the fence, or they'll tear." Terrified, Cam told her mother. The golden oriole followed the king everywhere, perching on his shoulder. The king affectionately asked, Golden Oriole, is that my wife hiding in my sleeve?" The bird flew onto the king's hand and slipped inside his sleeve. The king loved the bird dearly, building it a golden cage and caring for it every day. Out of jealousy, Cam consulted her mother, who advised her to cook the bird and bury its feathers in the garden. When the king discovered this, he was furious. From where the feathers were buried, 2 lush apricot trees grew. The king often lay under their shade. Once again, Cam reported to her mother, who told her to chop the trees and make a loom. While weaving, Cam heard the loom creak. "Creak, creak, weaving for my husband, but you stole my place and gouged out my eyes." Horrified, Cam burned the loom, burying the ashes by the roadside. From those ashes, a beautiful golden apple tree grew, bearing only 1 fruit. One day, an old woman passing by rested under the tree and said, golden apple, fall into my bag. I'll only smell you, not eat you." Magically, the apple fell into her bag. The old woman took it home, placing it by her pillow, only smelling it and never eating it. Every day, when she returned from the market, the house was clean and meals were ready. Curious, she pretended to leave, hid outside, and saw a young woman step out from the apple, cleaning the house. The old woman rushed inside, tore the fruit apart, and embraced the girl, adopting her as her daughter. The happy ending. From then on, Tum lived with the old woman, helping her run a tea shop. Tum prepared the betel leaves beautifully, attracting many customers. One day, the king stopped by, noticing the neatly prepared betel leaves, and asked, "Old lady, who prepared this betel? It's so skillful." The old woman replied honestly, "My daughter prepared it." The king asked to meet her. Recognizing Tum, he rejoiced and brought her back to the palace. There, Tum told the king all that had happened. Furious, the king summoned Cam and her mother to face justice. But Tum, compassionate as ever, pleaded for mercy. The king exiled them from the palace. As they left the city, a sudden storm struck, and lightning killed both Cam and her mother in the fields. From that day on, the king and Tum lived happily ever after.